Hello there, I'm Charlie, aka Ronan Logan X, and this is Ronan Logan X Reviews. In this video, I'm taking a look at the John Constantine 7-inch action figure from the Page Punchers toy line made by McFarlane Toys. To start things off, I wanted to say that John Constantine, or Constantine, depending on the medium and the writers, is one of my favorite characters to occupy the darker side of DC Comics. One of the primary contributing factors in this most likely comes from my love of paranormal investigators just in general, and more specifically Carl Kolchak, who pretty much introduced me to the entire concept of a paranormal investigator, and who John Constantine shares a few characteristics with, I think. With that said, I've been wanting a John Constantine figure to add to my DC collection, and when they announced this one, I was pretty darn excited. So without further ado, let's check it out. Starting with accessories, he comes with a spellcasting hand, a spell book, a stand, and a comic book. Now, for the price that they are selling this at, I would have liked to have seen a few more added accessories, like some extra spellcasting hands and maybe some magical fire effects. However, this is a pretty neat assembly of accessories for this character, as is. Although I do want to make mention of two things. The first being that I don't really know if I think that the comic book as an accessory merits the added bump in price. I mean, a normal DC Multiverse figure at retail usually sells for around $19.99. And the Page Punchers 4-inch line is listed as $9.99 a figure from what I'm finding, which is even less expensive than the 3.75-inch Marvel Legends Retro subline that you can find in stores. So I guess I just feel that $24.99 is just a little too high a price for this. Maybe something more around the range of $22.99 would be more appropriate, but I digress. As for the second thing I wanted to mention about the figure's accessories, which is probably more important, is that his spellcasting hand unfortunately does not fit all the way on the peg at the wrist joint. I mean, that fact is pretty much concealed by the spell effect when viewing him from the front, while the spell effect itself is facing the front. But from most other angles, you can definitely see the seam. Now, for me, this isn't a deal-breaking offense. It's just disappointing in my opinion. Moving on to the articulation, he pretty much has all of the articulation you would expect out of a DC Multiverse figure, as this figure very much feels just like a extension of that line of action figures, and would look right at home with any you might have already in your collection. The downside to this is that he is fairly wobbly when standing, and therefore prone to fall, which is an issue I've found to be reoccurring with DC Multiverse figures. Luckily, it's also an issue that is greatly mitigated by the fact that they package all of their figures with stands. So it's a tolerable and minor issue in my opinion. Finally, I just want to take a look at the appearance of the figure and how authentic it is, in my opinion, to the character. And the simple fact is that I think this is pretty darn awesome looking. It definitely feels like John Constantine, although I do have like 2 or 3 minor gripes. And when I say minor, I do mean minor. The first is that I would just love to see him with a cigarette. I know that's not going to happen, especially with action figures that are marketed to a wide range of audience. But still, I just think it would have looked cool and appropriate for the character. The second is just that I'm not too keen on the hole in the leg of his pants at the knee. I just think it's one level too much of being disheveled for John Constantine, unless maybe it's a reference to his appearance in the included comic book, but I just don't know about that. And the final minor gripe is that he suffers from the dreaded and infamous McFarlane side-eye, but only just a little bit. I mean, I still don't like that. I'd rather have a character looking straight forward. However, I've seen characters suffering way worse from the McFarlane side-eye, so I guess it's getting better at least. I hope you have enjoyed this video and you have found it helpful and informative in any decisions you might have regarding the purchase of this figure. If you have enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please comment, please subscribe, and ring that bell icon if you would like to be notified about any of my future videos. Also, if you might be interested in anything else of mine, you can find me on Instagram at RonanLoganX, where I post toy photography pictures as well as puppy pictures of my pup Ripley. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.